Okay, I am so ready for the holidays. I'm basically just mentally checked out until Christmas at this point.
Huh. Tell me about it. It's getting close.
Seriously, I spent like all weekend wrapping presents. And honestly, the best part for me is just thinking about people opening them, seeing their faces. That's the real buzz. It really is all about the giving.
Oh, absolutely. That
Mm.
shared moment, that little bit of joy. It's funny you mentioned gifts, though, because you, our listener, have kind of given us a gift recently.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
This stack of sources on Dr. Bosch, well, it's been a trip, a real deep dive into something pretty dark.
Yes. Dr. Bosch. Or, Drabiriosh, I should say. That's how it's pronounced, apparently. And yeah, speaking of giving, Dr. Bosch has definitely given us something unique, interesting, and absolutely terrifying.
That is. Yeah, that's putting it mild. We're not talking tinsel and carols here. This is like finding digital hell hidden in the code of a game we all thought we knew.
Exactly. So that's our mission today, right? We're going deep on this whole Dr. B. Zirish Fallout NV thing. It's not just some random scary video. It's a really significant piece of internet mystery stuff.
Totally. It blends Fallout, New Vegas, FNV, as we'll probably call it, which is, super familiar territory for a lot of gamers, with these really effective modern horror techniques. It's designed to get under your skin.
Right. So for you listening, maybe you've heard of this, maybe not. What we're trying to unpack is, what is this thing? Is it an ARG, like an alternate reality game? Why did it blow up in the Fallout community? And
You
like,
didn't
what's
get
the
it right.
point, if there even is one?
Yeah, we're going to break down the story, the creepy psychological tricks it uses, and the whole big debate. Was this some crazy secret hidden by the developers, or just an incredibly well-made fake?
Let's clip out of bounds and see what we find. Okay, so the starting point. This is kind of crucial because the reason this whole thing felt so real initially is that it starts with something players actually do, glitching the game.
Exactly. It's not some magic spell. The whole Dr. Bosch series kicks off because the player supposedly uses a known glitch, a known method, to get outside the map. OOB, out of bounds.
And it's near a specific spot people know, right? The Mojave Outpost.
That's the one. It's a common area for trying this stuff. You basically force your way through the game's invisible walls.
Yeah.
It's a known quantity in Bethesda-style games, especially FNV.
Right. And that's the hook. People watching the first videos were like, oh yeah, I know how to do that, or I've seen people do that. The method itself, clipping OOB near the Mojave Outpost, it actually works. It's real.
Mm-hmm. People confirmed it, which gives the whole thing this immediate, veneer of authenticity. You see the setup, you know it's possible, and that makes you think, maybe the rest is possible.
But that's the twist, isn't it? That's where reality kind of forks off.
Precisely. That's the pivot. Clipping out of bounds. Totally doable. Finding unique quest items, a weird campfire,
Yeah.
a radio dish that starts a whole new storyline out there.
Yeah, that's not in the base game at all.
Nope. Confirmed, not there. So the method is real, the discovery is fiction. And that's where you step out of the familiar Mojave and into, limbo.
And man, do you spend time in limbo. These videos feature huge amounts of just walking through this empty OOB desert. FNV's out-of-bounds area is apparently insanely large.
Oh, it's monumental. Think about the size of the actual game map. Then imagine an even bigger, mostly untextured, low-detail void surrounding it. It's the digital backstage.
The analogy I keep thinking of for you listening is like, imagine walking around a giant abandoned movie studio lot. Way out beyond the finished sets. You see the edges of the painted backdrops, the unfinished scaffolding, maybe just flat, gray ground stretching out forever. It looks kind of like the movie world, but it's all wrong, empty, and just uncanny. You're not supposed to be there.
That's a great way to put it. And the videos lean into that, feeling hard. The pacing is deliberate. These long stretches of just walking through empty desert. It's not bad editing. It's a feature.
It builds this weird tension, right? Like you're just watching someone walk and walk. And the longer nothing happens, the more you expect something awful to happen.
Exactly. It wears down your normal gameplay expectations. You stop looking for action points or loot, and you just get unsettled by the quiet, the scale, the emptiness. It's conditioning you.
Okay, so you're conditioned, you're wandering this digital void for ages, and then the story actually starts, the inciting event.
Right. After a lot of walking, the player stumbles upon what looks like an abandoned campfire. There's a radio satellite dish nearby too, I think.
And the trigger isn't some glowing artifact, it's a lunchbox.
Yep, just a regular old FNV lunchbox.
Yeah.
Picking that up apparently initiates this cryptic quest. That mundane object found in this impossible place is the key.
And that's the moment it stops being about exploring a glitch and starts being Well, something else entirely. You're not the explorer anymore. You're kind of trapped in whatever story this thing wants to tell.
You thought you broke the game, but maybe the game was waiting for you out there, which is a terrifying thought.
So you pick up the lunchbox, the quest triggers, and boom. You're basically shifted into this alternate reality. A twisted reality is how the sources describe it.
Yeah, it's not just a weird area, it's a whole different version of the Fallout universe, seemingly. And this is where the creator, Bosch, shows they really, really know their Fallout lore and the fandom's pressure points.
How so? What defines this twisted world?
Okay, so there are two massive what-ifs that define this place. Two canonical failures that hit right at the heart of long-running fan debates and anxieties.
Lay 'em on me.
Number one.
Yeah.
In this reality, the original developers Interplay, Black Isle Studios, the guys behind Fallout 1 and 2, they never shut down. They kept making Fallout.
Whoa, okay, that's like a fan dream for some people, right? The classic era continuing.
Exactly. But then comes number two. Mr. House, the big brain in the Lucky 38, the guy whose whole plan is to save New Vegas with technology and order. In this reality, he failed. Utterly. Vegas wasn't saved, it collapsed.
Oh man, so you get the old devs back, but the central hope of New Vegas, this whole thing is built in. That hope is just gone.
Precisely. It's such a clever, kind of cruel twist. It gives one part of the fan base what they always kind of wanted, Interplay sticking around, but pairs it with the absolute failure of the New Vegas premise.
So the world isn't just post-apocalyptic, it's like post-hope. The vision failed, even with the original creators involved. It's tapping into decades of arguments about the series' direction, the old versus new, what should have been.
Totally. It's weaponized fan service, or maybe fan dread. It's incredibly smart meta-narrative stuff, using the game's own history against the player.
And it's not just the story, right? The technical side feels real too. Bosch seems to have a certain knowledge of the game, like deep knowledge.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just throwing some spooky monsters onto the map. The creator uses actual, cut content. Stuff that's still lurking in the game files but isn't used.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so some of the quest text that pops up, it's apparently taken from real, documented, buggy, or unfinished quests that were scrapped during development.
No way.
Yeah. So if you're a hardcore FNV fan or a modder, you might recognize fragments of that text and seeing it suddenly active in this weird OOB quest. That's incredibly immersive. It makes it feel like this wasn't made, it was found, unearthed.
Jeez, okay. What else?
They also use the unrendered Divide as a setting. The Divide is a location from the Lonesome Road DLC, already a pretty messed up place.
Right, I remember that. Very gloomy.
But this is the unrendered version you might glimpse if you glitched out of that map. We're talking broken geometry, placeholder textures stretched weirdly, lighting all over the place. It's taking a familiar, scary location and showing you its raw, corrupted code guts.
Okay, my chef analogy is coming back. It's like finding the chef's rotten, discarded ingredients hidden behind the fancy restaurant and realizing they've been cobbled into this secret, horrifying dish. It implies something was wrong with the original kitchen all along.
That's a good way to think about it. And as the videos go on, it just gets weirder. Progressively strange, the sources say. More unsettling visuals, really impressive audio design, creepy ambient sounds, distorted radio, static.
And it's not just random weirdness, right? It connects back to the main game.
Yeah, key events or characters from the normal FNV storyline are apparently referenced, but they're twisted in that hellish world.
Yeah.
So it feels like a dark mirror reflection of the game. You know, it's a commentary.
Which brings us to maybe the most debated part, Dr. Bosch himself, the player character. The sources say he's insanely nonchalant about everything he's seen.
Yeah, he's witnessing reality collapse, cosmic horrors, digital ghosts, and he kind of just plods along, barely reacts, like he's checking his email while Cthulhu rises.
Okay, that's weird. And people had strong feelings about that.
Oh yeah, two main camps. Camp one, it broke immersion. People were like, dude, show some fear, react, this is insane. It felt fake because the player wasn't acting human.
I can see that. If the character experiencing the horror isn't scared, why should I, the viewer, be?
Right. But Camp 2 saw it differently. They argue the nonchalance was maybe intentional, part of the horror.
How so?
Well, maybe the character is so deep into the game, so immersed as a player, that he's forgotten basic survival instincts, forgotten he could maybe even use the developer console to try and escape this. Hell, he's just playing the impossible quest.
Or maybe he's just gone mad. The horrors are so constant, he's just numb to it all, which is arguably even creepier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That numbness becomes the horror. Or, taking it a step further, maybe it's meta commentary. on how jaded we can get as players. We see unbelievable things in games constantly. Maybe Bosch's lack of reaction is reflecting our potential desensitization.
Huh. Yeah. That adds another layer. Still, if a bunch of people are pulled out of it, doesn't that mean it kind of failed on some level, artistically?
It's a fair point. It definitely split the audience, but it also fueled endless discussion, which is probably exactly what the creator wanted. It made you question not just the world, but the player experiencing it.
Okay, so beyond the lore and the weird player reaction, let's dig into why this stuff hits so hard psychologically. People called it creepy, disturbing, eerie. What's the mechanism there? It's not just jump scares.
No, definitely not. A huge part of it is the masterful use of what's called liminal space.
Liminal space, right. That's like transition zones.
Yeah.
Empty places that feel weird.
Exactly. Think empty hallways, waiting rooms, abandoned malls, places that feel familiar but are stripped of their usual purpose and people. They feel off. Now, apply that to a video game you know intimately, like FNV.
So the out-of-bounds areas.
They become the ultimate digital liminal space. You recognize the building blocks, the desert textures, the sky, the basic shapes because they're from the game. It feels familiar, but it's stretched out, empty, broken, purposeless. It's simultaneously familiar and deeply often threatening.
It triggers that uncanny valley feeling, but for environments.
Precisely. And it creates this really potent mix. First, you get this weird nostalgia, sometimes called anemoia nostalgia, for something you haven't actually experienced.
How does that apply here?
People feel nostalgia for this imagined lost version of Fallout, one Interplay might have made, the darker hidden game Bosch seems to have found. It taps into that longing.
Okay, I see. But then that longing is mixed with dread.
Yeah, the dread comes from seeing the seams of the reality. Seeing the unfinished broken space behind the polished game world, it violates the safety and predictability of the game. It feels like the digital ground is unstable beneath your feet.
People came up with some wild comparisons for this feeling, right?
Oh yeah. Viewers threw around terms like cosmic horror because of the scale, the feeling of uncovering some vast, uncaring, broken reality under the surface. Religious horror, maybe because of the corruption, the feeling of a fallen or cursed world.
And the big one, the Silent Hill of Fallout.
That one really resonates. Because Silent Hill, the game series, does exactly that. Takes familiar places, a town, a hospital, and twists them into nightmarish reflections of psychological trauma or hidden history. Bosch does that with game code. He turns the Mojave into a mirror of his own development anxieties and fan paranoia.
It's digital psychological horror. And it clearly worked. People reported feeling genuinely stressed watching this stuff.
Yeah, one quote was something like, "More stressed during the watching of this than any horror I've watched recently." Which is amazing for basically watching slow walks through a buggy desert.
It's that rabbit hole effect, maybe. The sources mention that. Like, the deeper you go, the stranger it gets, and you're just sucked in.
Totally. The slow pace, the monotony, the sudden bursts of weirdness.
Yeah.
It creates this constant state of low-grade anxiety and anticipation. You invest so much time just watching the emptiness that when something does happen, it hits harder. You can't look away.
And this led people to actually believe it was real. Like, for real.
Absolutely. Some viewers were completely convinced. They described it as feeling like watching the early Slender Man videos again, that credulous, maybe slightly naive state where you're thinking, wait, could this actually be happening?
We're like watching a really scary movie, and then hearing a floorboard creak upstairs right after. The fiction bleeds into reality because it feels so grounded.
Exactly. It uses the real game engine, real glitches, familiar settings. That proximity to the real game makes the fictional horror feel plausible, like it could infect your copy of FNV.
Okay, but despite how effective it is as horror, there's this whole debate about whether it's actually an ARG, an alternate reality game, or if it's something else, like a creepypasta.
Right, and that comes down to interaction. A traditional ARG usually involved the audience actively solving puzzles, digging through websites, decoding things outside of the main narrative content itself. Community collaboration is key.
And Bosch doesn't really have that.
Not much, apparently. The critique is there's too much nothing in terms of player interaction. There was maybe one real instance of needing to analyze audio with a spectrogram or something similar, but mostly you just watch the video.
So technically, maybe not a full-blown ARG by strict definitions?
Probably not. It functions much more like a very sophisticated, incredibly well-produced, documentary-style creepypasta. A digital urban legend presented as found footage. Or just a creepy online series.
But you could argue it uses the aesthetics of an ARG, right? The found footage feel, the glitches, the sense of uncovering secrets. It uses that language to tell its story, even if there aren't complex puzzles for the audience.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's maybe an evolution of the form. The goal isn't necessarily for you to solve a cipher. The goal is for you to believe, to feel unsettled, maybe even to reinstall the game and start poking at the boundaries yourself. The interaction it wants is with the original game, not necessarily with hidden files.
And that desire, that urge to check the game yourself, that's where the widespread confusion really set in, right? People wanted to believe.
Oh, massively. Especially newer players or people who just saw analysis videos without playing FNB themselves. The sources show they often believed it was real, a mysterious thing hidden by the devs, maybe some archived code left behind.
There's even that one user claiming they have done it, that it's totally real, which just shows how convincing the whole package was.
Absolutely. And the ultimate proof of its success, in a way, is that people actually reinstalled FNV, sometimes after years, or bought it for the first time, specifically just to find this quest.
Wow, getting someone to reinstall a massive RPG just based on your creepy videos, that's impact. They weren't just watching, they were trying to participate in the mystery themselves.
It shows the power of blurring that line between the game world and potential hidden depth. The creator made people question the very boundaries of the software they owned.
Let's be clear. As cool as that would be, the consensus is pretty firm, isn't it? This wasn't a hidden developer secret.
Yeah, unfortunately for the mystery lovers, the overwhelming evidence and conclusion from veteran players, modders, people who picked apart the game, it's unequivocally a mod. A very, very good one, but a mod nonetheless.
And the proof is in the pudding, or lack thereof. People tried to replicate it.
Oh, endlessly. People spent hours meticulously retracing his steps many times over, down to the number of steps he took, trying different character builds, everything. They could glitch out of bounds, no problem. But could they find that initial radio satellite? The campfire? The lunchbox? The cabin?
Let me guess. Nope.
Not a trace. Just the standard empty OOB void that everyone knew was there. The trigger objects simply don't exist in the base game files or the official DLCs.
And logically, from a game dev perspective, why would developers spend potentially hundreds of hours creating this complex multi-stage questline with unique scripting and lore?
And then hide it in a place players are actively discouraged from going, behind a non-obvious glitch with zero clues in the main game pointing towards it.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It's an insane amount of effort for something maybe 0.01% of players would ever accidentally stumble upon. Devs leave cut assets around sometimes, sure, but not entire secret campaigns like this.
Exactly. That level of deliberate construction, hidden that obscurely, it screams modder, not AAA developer time allocation.
And Bosch, the creator, they maintain the illusion, right? Talking about salvaging the videos.
Yep, they stay in character. It's presented as found footage from years ago, something discovered, not created. That commitment to the bit is part of why it remains so compelling for so long.
So the final verdict is, it's a private mod made by Dr. Bosch himself, and crucially, it's private. It hasn't been released.
Right. Which is clever. It prevents people from just downloading it, confirming it's a mod, and potentially reverse engineering how it was done. Keeping it private maintains the mystery. The only thing out there is apparently a fan-made remake of the old Interplay Black Isle intro screens used in the videos.
Which just reinforces that whole Ghost from Fallout's past vibe.
So all signs point to Dr. Bosch being a very skilled, longtime modder who knows the ins and outs of Fallout New Vegas. Someone who's mastered the GECK, the creation kit, understands the engine limitations, knows the cut content, and critically understands the psychology of the player base.
It's like digital performance art using a game engine. Hashtag, outro. So when you boil it all down, the Dr. Bosch ARG or creepypasta or whatever you want to call it, it worked so well because it hit this perfect storm. It used that existing player fascination with breaking boundaries, with seeing behind the curtain.
Yeah, that innate curiosity about glitches and OOB.
And married it with genuinely effective horror techniques. The liminal spaces, the unsettling audio, the slow burn pacing, plus this incredibly deep knowledge of FNV's lore, its cut content, its fan anxieties.
He didn't just tell us scary stories set in Fallout.
Yeah.
He essentially created a whole new twisted minigame inside Fallout using its own broken pieces.
Right, and proved that sometimes the scariest things aren't monsters jumping out at you, but just emptiness. vast, wrong emptiness, and the implication that something secret and terrible is lurking just beyond the reality you thought you knew.
It really is a masterclass in using the medium itself, the glitches, the
Yeah.
engine, the fan expectations as part of the horror. He took the void and made it speak.
Which leads us to that final kind of chilling thought to leave you with.
Go on.
This whole thing explores that ragged edge between the finished game and the junk code, the stuff left outside the map. Developers do leave assets out there, bits of cut quests, old models, failed experiments, digital ghosts, basically. So what if the really terrifying idea isn't that Dr. Bosch meticulously created this whole nightmare scenario using the mod tools?
Okay.
What if he just found the actual digital ghosts, the discarded ideas, the corrupted data, the remnants of failed timelines left behind by the original devs, and simply gave them a voice? What if he just provided the narrative framework for the glitches that were already whispering out there in the void?
Huh. So less architect, more medium for the machine's discarded thoughts.
Makes you wonder what else is lurking just outside the invisible walls, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. On that unsettling note.
Thanks for diving deep with us into the digital hell of New Vegas. We'll catch you on the next one.